They live here, they work here. But no matter what happens, they're not getting deported. We're talking about Asian nationals in America who, due to legal loopholes, spotless immigration records, or powerful diplomatic ties, are practically untouchable by U.S. immigration enforcement. In this video, we're counting down the 10 Asian countries whose citizens are the least likely to be deported from the United States, with real stats, legal context, and a few surprising twists. So if you think ICE is coming for everyone, think again, because for some, that door's just never opening. Number 10. Japan. Japan isn't just a technological powerhouse, it's also one of the most diplomatically respected countries on Earth. And that diplomatic weight, it goes a long way in protecting its citizens abroad, especially in the U.S. With roughly 429,000 Japanese Americans in the United States and a long history of immigration stretching back to the 1800s, the Japanese community has become synonymous with discipline, education, and low crime statistics. In fact, Japanese nationals consistently rank among the least likely groups to overstay a visa or violate immigration law. According to the Department of Homeland Security, visa overstay rates for Japan were just 0.13% in 2023, one of the lowest globally. Many Japanese nationals arrive in the U.S. through high-skilled employment, business ventures, and education. Cities like Torrance, California, Honolulu, and parts of New York are known for strong, vibrant Japanese enclaves that blend seamlessly into the wider urban landscape. In short, they don't draw negative attention. On a diplomatic level, Japan and the U.S. are closely tied through a defense pact that has stood for over 6 decades. With over 54,000 U.S. troops stationed in Japan, this alliance is one of America's most critical strategic relationships in Asia. Deporting Japanese nationals in large numbers would not only be a diplomatic blunder, it would be self-sabotage. The result? In 2023, less than 0.2% of all U.S. deportations involved Japanese nationals, and most of those were for criminal violations, not immigration fraud or overstays. Bottom line, Japan's reputation for cooperation, low-risk immigration, and tight U.S. ties keeps its citizens safe from deportation headlines. Number 9. South Korea. South Korea brings more than just catchy K-pop and Netflix-worthy dramas to the global stage. It's also one of America's most trusted immigration partners in Asia, and that trust shows in the numbers. With over 1.9 million Korean Americans currently residing in the U.S., the Korean diaspora is a cornerstone of many major American cities. You'll find thriving Korean communities in Los Angeles' Koreatown, New York's Flushing, and even Annandale, Virginia, each with cultural influence, political participation, and economic contributions. But what truly makes Koreans nearly untouchable in deportation terms is their compliance. Roughly 85% of Korean immigrants hold at least a college degree, and most enter the U.S. through legal pathways, such as family-sponsored visas, student programs, and the highly coveted H-1B work visa. Their visa overstay rate, an impressively low 0.14%, according to DHS data. South Korea is also part of the U.S. Visa Waiver Program, VWP, an exclusive club that allows its citizens to travel to America for. As for deportations, the rate of South Korean nationals removed from the U.S. in 2023 hovered around 0.15%. And even that number mostly involves individuals with serious criminal backgrounds. For the average Korean immigrant, especially one with legal status, the odds of deportation are lower than being struck by lightning, twice. Number 8. India. India, with its staggering population and deep historical ties to the United States, plays a unique role in U.S. immigration patterns. Over 4.8 million Indian immigrants live in the U.S. as of 2024, and they're not just numerous, they're some of the most educated and economically integrated immigrants in the country. According to the Migration Policy Institute, 77% of Indian immigrants hold at least a bachelor's degree, compared to just 33% of US-born citizens. And their household income? Indian American households earn a median of $140,000 per year, making them the highest-earning ethnic group in the US. That translates into strong economic clout, political voice, and social influence. Indians typically enter through high-skilled visa routes like the H-1B. They account for over 70% of all H-1B holders annually, or through family-based green cards. Student visas are another common entry point, with over 270,000 Indian students studying in the US in 2024. Because of their legal entry routes and strong record of compliance, deportations are extremely rare.
Most Indian nationals caught up in immigration issues are victims of bureaucratic red tape, such as visa delays or green card backlogs, not criminal deportation proceedings. The Indian community has also built powerful regional strongholds in Edison, New Jersey, Cupertino, California, and Irving, Texas, complete with businesses, temples, and advocacy groups that wield influence in local politics. These strong roots, combined with high respect for legal channels, make Indian immigrants a low priority for ICE. Deportation? Practically non-existent unless serious laws are broken. Number 7. Israel. Let's zoom in on Israel, a country that's technically located in Western Asia and arguably has the most complex geopolitical connection to the United States. With about 150,000 Israeli-born immigrants living in the US, their numbers may be smaller than some others on this list, but their protection is remarkably high. One major reason for this is the exceptionally strong US-Israel relationship, built on decades of military, technological, and political alliances. Israel receives over $3.8 billion annually in US foreign aid, and the countries share intelligence, defense strategies, and mutual support in global forums. So when it comes to Israeli nationals, let's just say ICE tends to tread lightly. Most Israelis in the US are here through investor, E-2 visas, business expansions, or
in places like Brooklyn, New York, Beverly Hills, CA, and Miami, Florida, Israeli-American neighborhoods have grown in visibility, wealth, and political influence. Deportation statistics? Essentially negligible. In 2023, fewer than 30 Israeli nationals were deported, and even then, it was for severe criminal offenses. The reality is that for the average Israeli immigrant, especially those on legal business or investment pathways, the chance of deportation is about as likely as snow in Tel Aviv. Number 6. The Philippines. The Philippines doesn't just send nurses, it sends stability, reliability, and loyalty. With over 4.4 million Filipino Americans in the United States, they are the third largest Asian group in the country and among the most deeply integrated. One of the biggest reasons Filipinos face almost no deportation risk is their high concentration in essential fields, especially healthcare. In fact, 1 in every 4 foreign-born nurses in the US is from the Philippines. During the COVID-19 pandemic, thousands of Filipino nurses were on the front lines, earning not just respect, but long-term job security and visa protections. Filipinos primarily arrive in the US through family reunification visas and employment-based green cards, especially in medical and caregiving professions. Visa overstay rates are minimal, and ICE data shows that only 0.21% of deportations in 2023 involved Filipino nationals, and again, most of those were for serious crimes, not immigration violations. Culturally, the US and the Philippines share a long and complicated history. After nearly 50 years as an American colony, the two countries remain mutual defense allies, with ongoing military cooperation, joint exercises, and deep political ties. On the ground, communities in Daly City, Sialania, Las Vegas, Nuvoi, and Honolulu, Hawaii, are Filipino strongholds, filled with churches, markets, remittance centers, and vibrant social organizations. These aren't just immigrants, their neighbors, workers, and taxpayers. In the U.S. immigration system, Filipinos are often seen as low-risk, high-value contributors, and that's exactly why deportation isn't knocking on their door anytime soon. Number 5. Vietnam. Vietnamese immigrants have carved out a firm place in American society, and they're not going anywhere. With over 2.3 million Vietnamese Americans in the U.S. today, they form the fourth largest Asian ethnic group and one of the most politically and economically active. Most Vietnamese came as refugees after the Vietnam War, under special humanitarian programs like the Refugee Act of 1980 and the Orderly Departure Program. Because of this refugee status, a massive portion of the Vietnamese population in America, many now live in Vietnamese-dominated hubs like Westminster, California, aka Little Saigon, Houston, and San Jose. These communities have developed strong local businesses, political representation, and deep civic engagement. Here's the number that matters. The U.S. can't deport most Vietnamese nationals who arrived before 1995 due to a bilateral agreement signed between the U.S. and Vietnam. That pact prevents deportation of refugees who entered before the normalization of relations, which includes tens of thousands of Vietnamese immigrants. According to track immigration data, fewer than 300 Vietnamese nationals were deported in 2023, the vast majority for violent felonies or repeat criminal offenses. For regular immigrants with legal status or refugee protections, deportation is virtually impossible under current policy. The bond between these two nations, rooted in shared history and policy, keeps Vietnamese immigrants firmly grounded on American soil. Number 4. Thailand. Thailand may not have the largest immigrant population in the U.S., but Thai nationals enjoy a unique level of protection, and trust me, it's not just because of their amazing cuisine. There are about 315,000 Thai Americans living in the United States, according to 2023 census estimates. Most reside in cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, and Las Vegas, where Thai temples, restaurants, and community centers have formed the heart of immigrant life. Despite the relatively smaller size of the Thai community, their legal immigration compliance is impressively high. Here's why deportation is rare. Thai immigrants have one of the lowest visa overstay rates among Asian nations, just 0.17% in 2023, according to the Department of Homeland Security. The majority enter the U.S. on student, work, or marriage-based visas and follow legal channels meticulously. Thailand is also a key non-NATO ally of the United States, with strong cooperation in anti-terrorism, trade, and regional stability. This relationship translates into smooth consular cooperation and immigration leeway for Thai nationals. The U.S.-Thailand Treaty of Amity, dating back to 1966, even allows Thai businesses special investment privileges, another sign of deep mutual respect. ICE data from 2023 shows only 41 Thai nationals were deported, most involving serious criminal cases. For peaceful, law-abiding immigrants, the risk is minuscule. Thai Americans, with their integration and strong cultural presence, are practically untouchable when it comes to immigration crackdowns. Number 3. Taiwan. Taiwan walks a fine diplomatic line with the U.S., and that has everything to do with why Taiwanese immigrants are extremely unlikely to face deportation. First off, the Taiwanese community in the U.S. numbers around 620,000, with dense. These are high-income, educated communities. Over 75% hold a bachelor's degree or higher, and median household incomes often exceed $120,000. It's a demographic that screams low risk to immigration officials. But here's the kicker. The U.S. does not officially recognize Taiwan as a sovereign nation due to the One China policy, yet still maintains unofficial but deeply strategic ties. This puts Taiwanese nationals in a unique immigration gray zone because technically there's no formal repatriation treaty. If ICE wants to deport someone to Taiwan, it's complicated. Taiwan also benefits from being in the visa waiver program, and its nationals have among the lowest rates of visa violations globally. In 2023, only 0.11% of Taiwanese visitors overstayed their visas, a nearly perfect compliance rate. Deportation cases, rare to the point of obscurity. DHS data reports fewer than 20 Taiwanese deportations in 2023, and most weren't even immigration-related. They involved criminal convictions. For the average Taiwanese immigrant, deportation is about as likely as the U.S. reinstating floppy disks. Number 2. Singapore. Singapore is small in landmass, but massive in terms of global respect, and that prestige carries over to its citizens in the U.S. There are only around 65,000 Singaporean nationals living in the U.S. at any given time, making them one of the smallest Asian populations, but also one of the least problematic. Singaporeans consistently enter the country via legal means, through work visas, elite education programs, or diplomatic missions. They boast an overstay rate of just 0.09%. Yes, you read that right. Among the lowest on the entire DHS list. Most Singaporeans in America are students at top-tier universities like Stanford, MIT, and Columbia, or professionals in industries like tech, finance, and healthcare. Median incomes are high, and criminal activity among this group is nearly non-existent. Here's where it gets interesting. Singapore's government is obsessive about record-keeping, background checks, and international cooperation. The U.S. trusts Singapore to screen its citizens so well that it's one of the few Asian countries with mutual law enforcement training programs. Because of this rock-solid bilateral trust and squeaky-clean immigration record, ICE almost never touches Singaporeans. In 2023, there were just 7 recorded deportations, and not one involved immigration fraud. You've got better odds of finding bubble tea in a desert than seeing a Singaporean on a deportation list. Number 1. China. Now, this might surprise you, but China, despite the political tensions and trade wars, tops the list. Why? Because deporting Chinese nationals is nearly impossible under current U.S. law and global diplomacy. While many came via legal channels, like family reunification, business or student visas, a significant number have stayed under asylum protections or DACA-like provisions. The key reason why deportation is rare? China rarely accepts deportees. That's right, the Chinese government is one of several that refuses to issue travel documents for citizens ordered deported by the U.S. In fact, as of 2024, ICA had a backlog of over 39,000 Chinese nationals with final deportation orders, but no country to send them to. Without Chinese cooperation, U.S. law prevents forced removal. Visa overstays? They're higher than Singapore or Taiwan, but still not extreme, around 1.28%. Most Chinese immigrants reside in places like San Francisco, Flushing, Queens, and Houston, and are involved in business, academia, and tech. Even amid rising U.S.-China tensions, mass deportations aren't on the table. Why? Because international law prohibits stateless deportation, and China's refusal to cooperate with ICE turns these cases into bureaucratic purgatory. Unless a Chinese national commits a major felony, they're not going anywhere. The U.S. immigration system just doesn't have the leverage or legal ability to enforce deportation, making Chinese immigrants the most undeportable Asian group in America. So, yeah, turns out some countries have such strong ties or spotless records that their citizens are basically undeportable. Surprising, right? If any of these caught you off guard, or if you live in one of these communities, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And also, where are you from? Drop it in the comments below.